Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. So on today's video we are going to be sewing this Milkmaid dress. So if that's something you're interested in, come with me and let's get started. We're going to be using this chiffon material, and we're also going to be using these patterns that we drafted in our last video. In case you've not seen that, I'll be leaving it up on the screen here or down in the description box. So on this right here, we're going to be leaving ½ an inch all the way around except the middle part. And just in case you don't know where that is, I am going to be using an arrow to indicate that. The reason why we're leaving ½ an inch is so we can get the accurate allowance that we need when it comes down to sewing. So just place your pattern paper onto your fabric, pin it down, you have to, and then measure around ½ an inch on all the sides except the center front, like I said before. And we're also going to do the same for the back. And if you figure out that you need to line out where your darts are supposed to stay, you should do that. So I went ahead also to just cut out the linings for this off camera. So yeah, so this is the bustier part. This is the part where we get together, and for this I basically just left 1 inch on the parts that I'm touching. 1 inch, ½ an inch, and 1 inch. So that's ½ an inch, 1 inch. So that 1 inch on top is so we can create a channel for our straps to go through. All I know, what I need, and that ain't changing, is our sleeve, and we're just going to fold it into two. But first I measured out 25. That's folded into two is 25. So we're going to fold into 4 to get what we want for our sleeve. So I'm just going to mark a line up here, and then from here I'm going to measure out how much I want my sleeve to be. Now this is going to be dependent on what you want, but for me I did a length 26 because I was still going to fold and the elastic was still going to come in. So I just did a 26 and I like it. That's the length I want. So depending on what you want, that's what you're going to do for the length of your sleeve. This is everything, and what we're going to do now is we're going to sew around this by like 1/4 an inch, and we're also going to place our darts in like I have done here. There's not much to do when all I can. For the front, the main piece and the lining piece are going to be sewn differently. Just like you see the back, you see how it's sewn together with both the main and the lining piece sewn together. But for this we are going to be sewing it separately, and this is why we have to first attach the bustier part. We first have to attach the cup onto the main fabric before we add the lining, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So this is the strap that we're going to use. I just measured 1½ inch, and I'm going to be closing one side and leaving one side open. But from my length, I did a length 36, and that's what I wanted. The length again solely depends on you. So on the cup here, what we're going to do is go down by 1 inch because I want there to be some kind of opening when I wear the cloth. So we're going to go down by 1½ inch from the 1 inch that we've already measured, and we're going to go down there where I just pointed and mark out 2 3/4, and we're going to be placing gathered stitches from the center front to the side front. So what we're going to do next is mark out the 1 inch that we were supposed to use to close this the first time. Remember, 1 inch. So yeah, we're going to use 1 inch, and what we're going to do is place both cups together and then sew that place by 1 inch and place the gathered stitches like I said earlier. So this is what we have. This is what we're working with. See the opening on top, like I said before. So the next thing that we're going to do now is, you see the 1 inch that you've already made, instead of you to just fold it like that, it's going to look all rough and we don't want that. So we're going to fold twice and sew to give us a nice finish, and then we're going to fold the upper part by 1 inch as well, so we can create a channel for our straps to go through. So we have done that, and I went ahead also to sew the straps. So what we have here, you see how it is neat, you see how that place is looking very neat and very well professionally done. No pressure. So this is what the channel looks like, if you can see, and this is what the gather stitch looks like. Already made the gather stitch earlier, so what we're going to do is just pull, and when you're pulling on the thread, please be careful because it can break, and if it does break you have to start from the beginning. So be careful when pulling on this very stitch. So this is what we have now, and we're going to pass our straps through the open channel that we made earlier. So I'm going to start with the part that doesn't have the closing on it. Remember I said we're closing one part of the channel, and sorry, we're closing one part of the strap and we're not closing the other part. So the other part goes all the way to where the armhole is supposed to be. I'll show you guys in a few. We talk on the phone. This strap comes to the front and it's lesser on this side, so that's what you want to do for yours. So on here, on the main fabric of the front piece, all we're going to do is place our, that's the center part. So what we're going to do is place our cup onto the center part of the front. We're going to pin this down so it doesn't go anywhere, and then we're just going to start pinning our gathers down. But before that, you want to come over to this part, the armhole part, and you want to measure 1 inch downwards and do the same for both sides. And then the next thing you want to do is start pinning down your gathers. So as you pin down, adjust it. If it's too tight, adjust it. If it's too loose, you can adjust it. So the cup has to fit perfectly up to the 1 inch that you just put down for this. If you don't understand what I just said, please just watch what I'm doing. Nothing really matters. That's all I wanna do. So I went ahead to sew this, and this is what it's looking like. That's that 1 inch space that we left up there. So this is what it looks like in the front, and it's looking really beautiful. Like, I like this. I hope you're liking yours because I actually do like mine. The next thing we're going to do is to now place our lining piece onto the main fabric, just like I'm doing here. As I'm doing it here, like, just know your dart is going inside, like where your dart is supposed to be goes inside, so it's going to look exactly like this when you're done. So this is for the sleeve. What I'm going to do is just create channels above and below, and then we'll come back to this. So this is what it's supposed to look like when you turn it over. This is what it's going to be looking like. So there's no space for something to escape or anything. This is looking really good so far. So we're just going to turn it over to the other side, and yeah, this is what this is looking like right now. So we're going over to do the sleeve. Please make sure that your sleeves are together and they're perfect. So you want to use the back pattern, the place where you have your armhole curve. You just want to cut that out, and this is what it should look like when you're done. So the elastic part, we are going to be going in by 10.5, and the smaller one I just put it around my wrist, and if it fits, if it's that's what I want. So yeah, don't make it too tight or too loose, you guys. So passing this to the channel, we're going to pass big one, or you could do any one you want to do first. So what you want to do is, when you can almost no longer see the elastic, just for it not to follow you through and through, you want to use a pin to pin it down so that you can continue with this. And when you are done doing that, you have to go over to the sewing machine and stitch those parts so the elastic doesn't have to come out when you remove the pins. So this is what it should look like when with the pins no longer there, because you've already stitched everything down. So all we're going to do now is put all this together. So we're going to do sleeve to body. So this is the back side of the cloth, and what we're going to do is place the sleeve. You know that place that you cut out, you're going to place the sleeve. So you see that there's like a hole there. I'm going to show you what I do whenever there's something like this, because obviously the sleeve is going to be bigger than the actual like armhole back, so or front. So what you're going to do is pin this down like so on both sides, and then what you want to do for this is just pleat it in, and make sure the pleat is so neat. When you do it, you want to pleat this in, and just so you know, all the pleats have to go in the same direction as the first one. So I'm going to repeat the same thing on the front and sew by 1/2 inch. So this is what it's looking like when we're done. So the next thing we're going to do now is sew all the way from body to sleeve by the allowances that was given to us when we decided to draft the pattern. Mine is 1.5. That's what I'm going to sew by. Yours, I don't know what you used. It could be 1 inch, it could be 1.5 inch, it could be 2 inches, but I'm going to be using 1.5 inch to sew this all the way from body to sleeve. Just so you get a neat work out of it, you have to pin this down. So we're going to go all the way and sew. This is what it's looking like, really neat. I'm liking this, and this is the front and the back all together. This is looking really good. So you guys, the bottom part depends on you. I decided to use a flare skirt for this, but you can use a straight skirt if you want to. So this is my flare skirt. So I'm just going to put it right sides facing each other on the top part, and I'm just going to pin it down. So this is what it should look like when you're done like pinning it down and sewing. This is what I have. I'm also going to add a lining to this. So what I'm going to do is make a sandwich. If you don't know what I mean, I'm going to place this like so, like onto the back part, and then this is what it's going to look like when I'm done. So those wiggly parts that we see goes inside and we don't get to see it anymore. So this is what it should look like when you are done. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my zip. I'm using an invisible zip. I also have a video of how to fix this, so if you're interested in learning on how to fix an invisible zip, I'm going to also put that down in the description box below. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using my zip to measure out where I want my zip to stop, and once I've done that, I am going to go out by 1.5 inch, because remember that's what we left for our zipper allowance. I'm going to go all the way down to the gown by 1.5 inch and sew it. So we're done with this. The next thing we're going to do is fix our zip. So you guys, this is what the dress is looking like. I really do love this. Let me know, like, I actually tried it out when I was done and I was like, yes. So I went ahead to weave and hem the end of the gown, and I also gave it a little, just a little slit, just for fun. And this is what the zipper side looks like. And this is everything, you guys. This is what it looks like on me. I really do love this. Like, it's very comfortable, very chic. I hope you get to try it for yourself. Okay, you guys, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and also leave a comment down below. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. Don't forget to love yourself because I love you. Bye.